Hey, this week's update brought us a new flying ship that showcases a new control scheme. For now, the scheme is not something you can set up yourself, it's only available through prefab. This prefab can only be obtained via new quest line, at least for now. This ship is a major upgrade compared to the flying prefab that we had before, and I'd say it's now the most fitting choice for a small vehicle to fly near your base. At least control and stability wise, it beats pretty much any designs of similar size that I've seen so far. I recommend building the ship on a grass and not a structure or any floor. This will prevent the bug where thrusters stop working after the ship drops from the jack. Also, since control scheme cannot be adjusted, destroying any of the thrusters will break the setup for the new control scheme, forcing you to rebuild the whole ship. As you can see, it's a quick build, and the vehicle is quite easy to control, with one big exception. The new balloon controls are too realistic for my liking, and as you can see, the ship reacts to altitude changes with a significant delay. You can see when I hold the ascend or descent keys by the fire or smoke effect of the balloon, and you can see how big its delay. It's really hard to understand how much lifting force the balloon gives at any moment and how strong is the adjustment you need to make. And this turns most descents into a roller coaster of trying to get the right descent speed without actually crashing into the ground. Today I spent a bit of time with this design and made a few adjustments, and they made flying it a much better experience, at least for me. The first and most significant change is we're going to add 2 more thrusters at the back. These thrusters not only will give us extra speed, they will reduce the need to adjust the height with the balloon. Each time you engage the thrusters, the ship will gain altitude. So what we're going to do is take 2 old small thrusters and place them at the back, right by the rear steering thrusters. You have 3 options of how high you can place them. The lowest positions gives you the steepest climb angle, so adjust as you see fit. Now let's add a couple of thrusters for braking and reverse. These are the new small thrusters. Place them at the joints of the upper angled wings and the vertical struts. It's easier to do this if you look at the ship directly from the front, but it will take time to find the right spot in any case. Nudging is your friend here. Set these thrusters to a different channel than the boost thrusters. Next, the cannon. I find the cannons useless in the current meta. The damage doesn't really compare to any of the weapons we have right now. And you have to do some very precise aiming with the whole ship to make hit with a projectile that has a severe drop and does less damage. So off with the cannon and in with a set for my friend. Then the loot chest. It's not a Raid Zeppelin if there's no chest for loot, at least for me. There is a space for one right in front of the mast. A gem chest fits nicely there, and it's the same width as the ship. Once again, positioning may be a bit tricky, but use nudging. And these are all the changes that we need to make. Now let's take it for a spin. With the new adjusted version, you no longer have to use balloon as often. We use it to set the lowest altitude for the flight that we have in mind, and after that, you no longer have to touch the balloon controls unless it's really necessary. If you need to climb, pick in the booster. As you can see, the highest position gets you a very modest climb speed. If you need steeper climb, just move those thrusters lower. The vehicle will keep climbing as long as you keep using the booster, so you can get quite high, and this gets around using the balloon, which is just fine for me. And when you need to descend, just cut the boosters and the vehicle will just glide down. And if you need to descend faster, just release the forward key. Also, let me show you some fun exercise. This is Cerberus, a fun take on the prefab, with more useless but cool looking firepower. 2 chests, 3 cannons. Thanks to the slight angle on the wings, the cannon trajectories converge at some distance in front of the vehicle. I'm not going to do a step-by-step guide here, but I can provide you some pointers how to make one. We're going to use activation switch to extend the wings. After the 4010 updates, this is the only switch that still snaps to the parts. The places it can be attached differ for each wing, but you can get it placed. Next, place a small floor part in front of the wing. It must connect in a very specific way that you can see here. And then you can use this small part to attach larger pieces of the floors to extend the wings. I use first order set angled roof pieces. These fit perfectly here. These are Starkiller trim curved and first order trim curved. A very important note, wings and cannon must be attached while the ship is still on the jack. If you attach the cannon while the ship is on the ground like here, the cannon will also attach to the ground, destroying all the thrusters, in turn ruining the unique control scheme. So assemble the ship until the last step, the 2 thrusters on the back, and focus on the wings and cannons. And only after the wings and cannons are done, attach the thrusters, which will drop the ship from the jack. The chests have to be placed along the middle of the ship. This is because the steering wheel must not be blocked on the sides. And this happens whenever you try to exit the vehicle, the game will try to place your character right on top of the steering wheel. There is not enough space there for the character, so it will push you even further up, right inside the balloon. And as you may guess, getting out of the enclosed balloon is not very convenient. And here's just a snippet of how shooting from the cannons looks like. The shots converge, hit one place, do some damage, but you still have to aim the whole ship. It's inconvenient, but keep in mind where you can have 3 cannons, you can place 3 chests instead, and I think it's a bit more practical. So all in all, I highly recommend getting this prefab while you can. Currently, it's not clearly communicated if the vehicle will be available after the questline goes away. So, I highly recommend that until April 27th, while the questline is still active, go get it. Even if you're playing alone, it may take a few days, but it's totally worth it. So go do it, and I hope you find my changes helpful. See you next time.